So the question today is, does size matter? And this is with relation to linear fusion rifles in the game. Should you have a big magazine size? Should you put everything into as much ammo as possible? Or should you be going for as much damage? Well, I'm going to explain it very simply. What you should be looking for is the perfect spot. I like to call it the P spot, which is where you're able to do as much damage as possible while still having as much free ammo from thin air as possible. So that's the goal today. I'm going to break it down. I hope you guys enjoy. Let's look at the linear fusion rifles we have in the game. We have 3 of them that actually roll with good damage perks: Reed's Regret, Cataclysmic, and Threaded Needle. For these 3 linear fusions, what you get is 5 ammo base in the magazine, and then you can increase the magazine size either with a magazine perk, weapon perks that give you ammo from thin air, or by using backup mag for the mod slot. When I'm talking about getting ammo from thin air, I'm referring to triple tap and 4th times the charm. You could also get ammo back from your reserves by using clown cartridge to get more ammo, or auto loading holster, but those ones are different. We're just going to focus on getting ammo from thin air because those ones are better. So that basically eliminates the threaded needle because it only provides you with auto loading holster. So we're down to 2, Reed's Regret and Cataclysmic. There's videos out there about which one is better, but the question is why, so that in case you don't have a perfect rule of either one, you know what to go for. We've got a base of 5 ammo in the magazine for both guns. The question is, how does this free ammo affect these guns? For Reed's Regret, you have triple tap. You shoot 3 bullets and you get 1 from thin air. With 5 in the mag, getting 1 more for free makes it 6, which means you can get 2 bullets for free in total and you're shooting 7 shots. For Cataclysmic, it's pretty much the same thing. You shoot 4 bullets, you get 2. Add it to the last bullet that was in the magazine, now you have 7. So they both do the same thing, there's no difference at this point. But if you add an increase to the magazine, either with backup mag or with enhanced battery, we'll start with enhanced battery first. Adding 1 more to the magazine gives you a total of 6. So with Reed's Regret and triple tap, you get 3 bullets shot, 1 more. That leaves you with 4. You shoot 3 more, you get 1 more from reserves, and you have 2 left. So that's 8 shots you've shot in total. Things start to get interesting when you look at the Cataclysmic, because instead of triple tap, this one has 4 times the charm. So adding 1 more bullet means you shoot 4, you get 2 more. That means you have 4 left in the magazine, which means if you hit all 4 of these, you get another 2 extra bullets from thin air added to your magazine. In total, you get 10 shots compared to the 8 that you get from Reed's Regret. Now, before we just go ahead and give Cataclysmic the crown, we got to look at 2 more things. The first thing is the damage perks that's available on both weapons. With Reed's Regret, it could roll Vorpal, Firing Line, and Focus Fury. And for damage perks for the Cataclysmic, the best one is just Focus Fury. So you've got the same option on both guns. The 2 perks that we're going to compare here are Focus Fury and Firing Line. If you are in an encounter or a DPS phase where you could stay close to your ally, Firing Line gives you a 20% increase in damage for every single bullet that you shoot, while Focus Fury gives you 20% damage only after hitting half of your magazine as precision shots. So that means if you miss a shot or you hit a body shot on one of your shots, things like that, as soon as that happens, it gives less bullets for you to be able to proc the 20% damage increase on. So essentially, if you have your allies with you, Firing Line is always going to be better because you always get that 20% increase, whereas for Focus Fury, you only get 20% after a certain amount of time. But with the fact that we know that we get 2 extra shots before reloading for Cataclysmic, if we do the numbers, if each bullet from your gun did 10 damage, you increase that by 20%, that means each bullet's now doing 12 damage. So this is for Firing Line now. 12 damage for 8 bullets gives you 96 damage. But for Focus Fury, on the 4th times the charm on Cataclysmic, you have 4 bullets that do only 10 damage, which is 40, and then you have 6 bullets that do 20% damage before you reload. That's 72 damage. In total, the Cataclysmic will do 112 damage compared to the 96 damage from the Reed's Regret. I know that might be a little bit confusing, but you could just replay that section to understand how I got to those numbers. Essentially, With firing line, you get a 20% increase in damage, but you have less shots that you're shooting in total on Reed's Regret. Whereas if you're using Cataclysmic, you get more shots, which means you get increase in damage just based off of the fact that you're shooting more bullets. Because even if you didn't get a 20% increase in damage, so even if you didn't have Focus Fury and you just had the Cataclysmic and you shoot 10 bullets, that all did 10 damage, not the 12 damage that you would get from firing line, just 10. 100 is still more than 96, so without any damage buff, one magazine of Cataclysmic would still be more damage than the Reed's Regret. Now, you know how I said there's two things we got to consider, and one of them was the damage perks? Well, the other thing actually breaks the game, and it's called the Veist trait that has been introduced into the game this season. So every time you go into trials and you get a Reed's Regret from Witch Queen, it drops with this trait called Veist. What this does is essentially, while you're doing damage to a target with a Veist weapon, it has a chance of fully reloading the magazine of that weapon. So we already know that Cataclysmic can only shoot 10 bullets, and even if you proc Focus Fury on it, you get a lot of damage, which is better than Reed's Regret with just one magazine. Where things get interesting is with this Veist perk, if you shot 3 bullets and the Veist procs, or let's say even 4 bullets and the Veist procs, that means you get a full magazine of 8 shots again to be able to shoot with either firing line or Focus Fury, whichever one you choose depending on which engagement you're having. This basically just blows Cataclysmic out of the water, because now you've gone from only shooting 8 shots on the Reed's Regret and getting 20% damage from firing line the entire time, to getting something like 8 shots plus the first 4 shots that you shot, which is now 12. And if this happens to proc twice, which it sometimes does, you can literally shoot 12 shots and get 6 shots back in the magazine to shoot another 8, which is now 20 shots in total that you shot. Just for context, even though some of these bullets are coming out of thin air, the magazine, the maximum magazine that you can have with reserves and everything on linear fusions is around 22. So imagine shooting 20 bullets out of that 22, with the exception of those bullets out of thin air, of course, without ever reloading. So in terms of the whole argument about size, in terms of choosing weapons, it's important that you give yourself the ability to shoot at least 5 bullets on the Reed's Regret, but you want to definitely have 6 for the Cataclysmic. Now, with the Veist perk coming in, you also want to increase the chances of that Veist proccing by adding that extra bullet that you can shoot to proc that perk. So either way, you want to have at least 6 shots on Cataclysmic, and same thing goes for Reed's Regret as well. Now, last but not the least, there's one more way that we can increase the size of the magazine for these weapons. We could either use backup mag, or we could use bus spec for the mud slot on the weapon. The question is, which one is better? Bus spec gives a 7% increase in damage to every shot that you shoot, whereas backup mag gives you 1 extra bullet. If you've been following, you might think more shots before I reload is giving me more damage per magazine, so maybe I should just put backup mag and call it a day. But before you do that, there is one thing you got to take into account though. It's the fact that with 4th times the charm and the firing line, we're trying to get a better chance at getting 1 more bullet out of thin air. But with backup mag, it's just going to take a bullet from your reserve and put in your magazine for you to be able to shoot that as well. So it's not free ammo, you're basically just using more ammo from reserves, but you still have to reload the same amount of times to get through your entire magazine if you do reload. So when it comes to the comparison of these two, every single bullet that comes out of your magazine can either have 7% more damage, or with backup mag you can put 1 extra shot in your weapon. I would say that for Reed's Regret, it would be something worth thinking about to maybe use backup mag just to give that extra chance of proccing Veist, which means you get 6 more bullets, which with triple tap gets you 8 shots to shoot before you have to reload. So another chance to be able to get a full mag without having to reload at all. But if you look at it, 7% over 20 bullets is 140%, which essentially means it's almost like you get an extra bullet. So with all that said, what is the best combination for DPS in the game right now? based on the numbers. I would say if you're going to be running with a team in whatever DPS that you're doing, you should have a Reed's Regret with enhanced battery, triple tap, firing line, and boss spec or big one spec. If you're not going to be able to stick with your team, like in the Rogue counter for example, for Reed's Regret, I would say run enhanced battery, triple tap with focus fury, and boss spec or big one spec for damage. For Cataclysmic on the other hand, this one's a no-brainer. You want to run enhanced battery for sure with 4th times the charm and focus fury, since that's the best damage perk that it has, and also use bus spec to increase how much damage output you're putting out every time you shoot one magazine. So like we said in the beginning, what if you don't have all these particular roles? What are your next best options? If you have an old Reed's Regret without the Veist straight, Cataclysmic with the 4th times the charm and focus fury perks are the best options. If you have the new Reed's Regret but you don't have triple tap, you can farm for the Cataclysmic easier and that's still going to be better. The only reason why Reed's Regret gets better than the Cataclysmic is because of that Veist straight. So if you don't have the god roll with the Veist straight, Cataclysmic is always going to come out on top. But at the same time, if you happen to get a Reed's Regret with that god roll and only the god roll of the Reed's Regret with Veist, with enhanced battery, with triple tap, and firing line or focus fury depending on what you're going for, is going to give you that ultimate damage increase. So that's it for me. What I wanted today was just to give you a good idea of why you're choosing what perks to use on your guns or what perks to even look out for, because there's a lot of videos out there that tells you what things or what different perks do, but I wanted this one to be a video that you watch, that even in the future if a new perk, a new crazy perk comes out from Bungie and you want to know, should I use backup mag or should I use boss spec or should I use enhanced battery, you already know what is most likely going to happen because of this video today. If you enjoyed it, don't forget to leave a like on the video, and if you're new here, hit that subscribe button so you know when next I bring some of this useful information for you guys. I'll catch you on the next one. Stay positive, stay safe, peace. Bro, what is wrong with this game? Hello, is it me you're looking for? I thought I saw that there. Hey, at what age does that stop? That harpy just killed me.